Good evening, YouTube or BookTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd make a quick little video before I go to bed here on a Wednesday night here in West Michigan. It is going on 10/26 at night on December the 16th, 2020. I'm inside my main study. I was going to get ready to go to bed, and then I thought, well, videos don't have to be long. They can be short. Usually my videos are around 20 minutes, sometimes 8 minutes. And so I'm just going to be really short here. I don't know, I usually go to bed around 11 o'clock. I don't like staying up late. Sometimes I go to bed and I lay there until midnight. But lately, as I been getting older, I get more sleepy as I get towards 11 o'clock, and so I go to bed. Tonight, I've been reading tonight, Late Medieval Mysticism of the Low Countries. This is in the Classics of Western Spirituality. I got this today in the mail. I didn't know I thought I had this one, or somehow it got away from my attention. I have a lot of the spiritual writers of the Middle Ages, and also the Eastern Orthodox spiritual writers. The reason why I got this is that I found out just recently that the writings in this volume were followers of John Ruusbroec, which I have shown you this one here. This is one of my favorite spiritual writers who he lived in the lowland. What's it called? The Low Countries, Belgium, that area. He lived from 1293 to 1381. He was a monk, and but his spiritual Espousals is one of my favorite spiritual writings. And I try to read it every year. And I didn't know that in this volume were followers of John Ruusbroec and his mystical theology. And I just found that out recently, and so I ordered it and got it in the mail today. So I've been reading the first treatise, which is called The Kiss of Mouth, which is a text from the Song of Solomon there in the Old Testament. And so I read parts of that tonight. I still been reading, I finished today reading 1 Kings in the Old Testament, and now I'll be starting reading 2 Kings in the Old Testament. I finished reading 1 Kings this afternoon, so I'll be on 2 Kings, Old Testament, in the Holy Bible. As far as in the Psalms, I finished in Denis's Carthusian's Commentary on Davidic Psalms, Volume 1, Psalms through 125. I finally finished Psalm 4, and now tomorrow morning or this week I'll be reading his commentary on Psalm 5. My little book of Psalms, I'll read Psalm 5. It says, Psalm 5, David prayeth and professeth his study in prayer, for God favoreth not the wicked. 7, David professing his faith, prayeth unto God to guide him. 10, to destroy his enemies, and 11, to preserve the godly. So now I'll read Psalm 5. Give ear to my words, O Lord, consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee will I pray. My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art not a God that has pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak lies. The Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into thy house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in thy fear will I worship toward thy holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in thy righteousness, because of my enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their counsel. Cast them out in the multitude of thy transgressions, the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor wilt thou compass him as with a shield. Psalm 5. So I've been start reading Denis's commentary on Psalm 5 this week. I'm still reading, I also got out this book on the Psalms. This is in the Geneva series of commentaries, and this is by William S. Plumer. William S. Plumer he graduated from Princeton Theological Seminary in 1826. There in, I suppose it's in Massachusetts, in Boston, or Cambridge. Plumer was a well-known Southern Presbyterian preacher and writer of the last century who spent the last 13 years of his life as a professor at Columbia Theological Seminary in South Carolina. He produced his exposition of the Psalms during the prime of his life. As they tell us, he never felt more disposed to any work. In the opinion of others, Dr. Plumer was outstanding as a spiritual Christian. His prayers, wrote Moses D. Hodge, were the tender pleadings of a soul in communion with God. Of the place which the Psalms had in his own experience, he writes, quote, during a Christian and ministerial life, neither short, uneventful, nor free from dark days and sharp sorrows, the author has never been able to secure himself or minister to others full support and abounding consolation without a resort to the Psalms. So I've been reading this along with Denis and Carthusian on the Psalms the last couple of days. This is really, I highly recommend this commentary on the Psalms. I think it was first published in first published in 1867 here in America. So I've been reading that on the Psalms. Also been reading still for morning devotions, the Eastern Orthodox Church, A New History by John Anthony McGuckin. Really enjoying this. That's really it's interesting because as being a son of the Protestant Reformation, Western theological tradition, I was not raised or educated in the Eastern Orthodox Christian spiritual tradition, so this is very insightful. Our second son, Josiah, he's into the Eastern Orthodox spirituality. I also been reading Denis Carthusian's treatise on contemplation, the spiritual writings of Denis and the Carthusian. I've been reading this, rereading it. I read this at least every couple of years. I read through this treatise on contemplation. As far as I started reading this last night. I came across a booktuber I watch who is a professor, and retired professor of literature, and he did a little video on the novels Alison Lurie, and I had this in our library, and I got it out last night, and I read about 55 pages, so I've been reading this. Still reading the stories of Nikolai Leskov, Lady Macbeth of Mishkish, selected stories of Nikolai Leskov. I've been reading this really long story called The Enchanted Wanderer. Fascinating. I'm really enjoying it. I still got maybe 15 pages left in that short story. So I've been reading that. And I'm on the second volume of the Diaries of Emilia Reyes, The Happy Years, by Ricardo Peccalelli. So this is what I've been reading during my days. So yeah, I started reading this tonight, really enjoying it. And reading the Denis and the Carthusian. I showed you this, and I read this one every year. The writings of Hugh Obama and Guilo DuPont. And, so that's what I'm reading. Reading the Psalms. Start reading 2 Kings in the Old Testament. Reading Foreign Affairs, a novel by Alison Lurie. Finishing a short story in this volume by this Russian writer. He lived from 1831 to 1895. Russian. This is translated out of Russian by Donald Rayfield. And I've been reading this Diaries of Emilia Reyes, the second volume of a trilogy. As far as my diary, I'm in the second folder of December 2020. As you all know, on the 16th I go to the second folder, and I ended today on page 1213 for the year 2020. And I already have my January 2021 diary ready, if I'm still living. 2021, on January the 1st, I'll be on page 1. And we're already through the half of the month of December. Here in Michigan, it hasn't snowed, which is really unusual. It was cold today. It was gray and 27 degrees. A little fluttery of snow, but nothing really serious. So, yeah. So there's only left in the year 14 days left in the year 2020. So yeah, that's my diary. I already got my diary ready for tomorrow morning, December the 17th, 2020. And now it is 10:40 at night on December the 16th, 2020. I hope you're having a good week. I do thank you for the comments and the new subscribers. I do pray that you don't got this COVID-19 plague. Things seem to be getting a little bit more settled as far as the politics in Washington, D.C. I was kind of in a weird way, I was kind of comforted by the fact that 80 million Americans did not vote. We know around 80 million Americans voted for Biden, and we know around 72, 73 million voted for Trump. But I didn't realize that from what I read in an article, that 80 million Americans, or 80 million people, maybe they were, Latinos or Asians, or maybe they were of all kinds of classes and races, didn't vote. And I thought, in a way, that's at least, in some ways, maybe that balances things out in some ways. I don't know. I think we all should vote, and we all should be concerned about America and be concerned about our country, and that it might be the best that it can be. But anyway, so once again, I do thank you for the comments. I try to answer all the comments. I try to be aware of all your comments. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. I don't mean to slight you. It always bothers me when I comment on videos and BookTube and there's no response, and that's very rare. But it's one thing, I don't comment that much. So now it's 10:42. I'll sign off. I'll go to bed. Tomorrow is a Thursday. Tomorrow our granddaughter Josie Joy comes over, and we have our older son and his family, Josie Joy and little Coralie, who live down the street. Our oldest son, he lives down the street with his family. They'll come here for dinner, and yeah, life just keeps going by. So once again, hope you're all doing well. Stay safe, and until next time, bye.